Hey everybody, it's Ron, and today I'm going to be reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I saw it last night, and I have to admit, I was not expecting to like this movie. For whatever reason, the trailers and promo for the film kind of felt like an afterthought, and the movie looked like it might have been a rush job, and maybe that's because James Gunn is over at DC now. So honestly, I went in with low expectations because I didn't love the second Guardians movie, but I was completely wrong. I actually ended up really enjoying this movie. It was kind of everything I wanted the second movie to be. I'll start with a minor criticism. Sometimes the music felt a little too on the nose, for me at least. For example, in the beginning, he uses Creep by Radiohead. I feel like James Gunn is expected to always do some sort of clever musical cue at all times because of the success of the first movie. But I feel like maybe he could have just done without it in some scenes and let it play out by itself. Maybe just have a quiet opening of Rocket walking through nowhere to set the tone, or better yet, just use a score instead of a song we've heard a bunch of times. Also, another minor criticism, I feel like there were some scenes where he could have done a bit of show don't tell, and I'm thinking of the scene where Nebula was watching the video of Rocket Raccoon's abuse, all the experiments that were done on him, and she literally says, "This is worse than what Thanos did to me." And I feel like just a shot of her looking away in horror would have told us that instead of actually having to say it. Drax had some funny moments on par with the first one. I thought his comedy scenes in Volume 2 were a little weak, so that was an improvement. The humor was dialed back a little, which was also an improvement. James Gunn pushes that a little too hard sometimes, but he's definitely better at it than someone like Taika Waititi, in my opinion. I genuinely felt bad for Peter with Gamora. That was a pretty bittersweet part of this movie, but it was handled really well. Mantis gets to use her powers in more interesting ways during the action scenes, so that was nice to see, and she had some pretty legitimately funny lines this time around, so that was cool because I didn't really love her character in Volume 2, so I feel like her character grew a little bit in this one. I talk about how I want more weirdness in sci-fi or space adventure movies, and Gunn is really good at that. I like his design sense for these movies. Every single set piece is unique and visually interesting. There's nothing bland about it at all. The aliens look otherworldly. It's just fun to look at, and I do appreciate his sensibilities when it comes to that type of stuff. The Rocket Raccoon origin was more interesting than Peter's, I don't know what you want to call it, his upbringing or his search for his father in Volume 2. I could have watched a whole Rocket Raccoon prequel movie, actually. And I guess we kind of got that in this. So the High Evolutionary was a pretty good villain. I liked the actor's performance, even though he got a little one note and shouty towards the end. Adam Warlock is kind of turned into a joke, like a lot of what Marvel movie depictions of these characters turn out to be. And that's unfortunate because he's a cool character in the comics. So yeah, that's a little disappointing. He has a pretty small role. He probably didn't need to be in it, really. But I will say he won me over at the end a little bit, so I'm not sure what they plan on doing with him in the future. The outfits in this movie are taken from a great Guardians of the Galaxy run in the comics, so it was cool to see them in official uniforms this time. There's also a really fantastic fight sequence with all the members at the end, and it's probably one of the best I've seen in a Marvel movie in a long time. I haven't really watched any of these new Marvel movies pretty much after Endgame because none of the new stuff has caught my attention, but this was kind of held over a little bit when James Gunn got fired, so it felt like being taken back to the good phases of Marvel. It just really shows the difference between someone with talent and knowledge of the material versus people who get these gigs writing for the Disney Plus shows and they don't even like comics. So this was nice to see again. So yeah, it was really fun. I don't know where they're going to go because I think James Gunn is going to DC full time because he's in charge now. So this is probably his last movie, and if this is his last one, I'd say he had a pretty good trilogy run. So let me know what you guys thought about this movie in the comments, and please be sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content. Thanks for watching.